Hey everyone, what is going on? Happy solar eclipse. So, there's a lot that I want to speak on. There was a lot of downloads that have come through over the past few days. So, I just simply set the intention that whatever needs to be spoken about will come through my vessel as it needs to. What I want to start off with is just some general eclipse facts, right? So with eclipses, with eclipse season, it's a period of change. And sometimes some people like change, sometimes they don't like change. I feel like often the fear is when change happens is what if it doesn't work out? What if I don't have enough money? What if I don't receive the love, the promotion, the job, whatever it is? And so eclipses are a perfect opportunity that we get to have twice a year, always eclipse season, that is, to push us outside of our comfort zone, for us to face certain things that need to be dealt with, where we can't run away from these things. They're going to be happening either way. And if you choose to run away, I almost say it's like you can do it the easy way or the hard way. If you continually run away, run away, run away, that's often when it manifests in your body as an illness, as an injury, as pain. And I understand that that is a contentious opinion, but I've experienced it not only within myself, friends, clients, but I've also done it like in random places, like when I'm in acting classes and people have an injury. And I don't really vocally say this anymore. But when I was younger in my spiritual awakening, I was kind of just being a mad scientist and talking to people and asking what kind of change was happening or not happening. And oftentimes, almost every single time when there was a massive injury, it was during a massive change in their moment. I'm not saying you're going to get an injury. I'm just saying that if you choose to run away and not deal with it, your body always keeps score and your body always wins. Thank you, Brene Brown, Scorpio Queen. Now, with this eclipse, it is a solar eclipse conjunct the south node. So a south node transit, a south node eclipse is talking about release. It's talking about purging. It's talking about letting go of things that are no longer aligned. Now, this doesn't always have to be a bad thing. This is also a removal of blocks or removal of a certain mindset, right? So purging can sometimes be seen as difficult or challenging, or like you have to do these things. It could also be like, this isn't working. I'm not going to keep on forcing it, or this isn't the right time. I watch RuPaul's Drag Race a lot, and RuPaul will often say, this isn't your time. And at first I thought that was just like a nicer way of being like, you're eliminated. But it's also very interesting as well. Like, this isn't the time for this event to happen. Sometimes when we're pushing and pushing and pushing, oftentimes a career or a love or something that we really think we need in this moment, we're not dealing with other things that are meant to be dealt with. Even if we look at the astrology, there are 12 different houses in the natal chart. Not all of those houses are going to be activated at once every single year. There are going to be things that need to be addressed. Just like when you go on a vacation, you're not going to be at the beach 24 hours a day. You're not going to be at the airport 24 hours or every day of that trip, right? There are certain stages of that vacation that take place. There are certain stages of life that are going to be taking place. So with this eclipse, given that the sun is being eclipsed, a solar eclipse, it is our light or life force, or it can also be linked to parents as well, right? Given that both the sun and the moon are hitting the south node. So given this is in the sign of Libra, it comes back to balance, it comes back to fairness, it comes back to justice. And a very easy thing is going to be evaluating the balance within your body, your home, your career, your relationships, your health, and specifically the house in which Libra rules in your natal chart. I often get a lot of questions in terms of, what if I have a lot of Libra placements? What does that mean when it's conjunct the south node? You don't have to overcomplicate this, right? We just talked about the south node represents release, purging, letting go. So let's say you have your natal Venus in Libra. It can often be letting go of a relationship that is no longer aligned. And that can be a relationship with yourself, with an old patterning that you do in relationships. Maybe you always stress out at the beginning stages of a relationship. Maybe you always act a certain type of way in relationships that was from when you were a child. That is no longer who you are anymore. You're letting go of that. It doesn't mean that you are physically letting go of a relationship might be how you act in a relationship. If it's your natal Mercury in Libra, it can have to do with commerce or business, or how you negotiate or how you act in business matters. It can be your mindset in terms of what you deem fair or just. Maybe you felt like in the past that you had to show up a certain type of way, or you had to speak a certain type of way, you had to have a certain type of mindset to be respected. And you're like, I don't want to keep having that as my barometer, as my set point. I'm going to release that. Okay. So if you have placements in Libra, with this South Node transit, with this specific solar eclipse, look at the general themes of that planet in that house and see how they apply to you. It's going to be different for everyone. It's going to be different based on the planets you have natally and the transit planets. But I promise you this, it's often a lot more simpler and a lot more obvious than you think it is. And it's okay to be unsure. It's okay to be upset. It's okay for a lot to be going on. That's often why astrologers, or what you'll hear people say, is to not set new goals or intentions around eclipse season, because so much is changing that what you want or what you wanted at the start of October might be completely different. You might be moving, you might be attracting a new job, a new partner, you might be rediscovering parts of yourself, you might be mourning old versions of yourself. So when we're in a phase of mourning, or when we're in a phase of contraction, it's not often the best time to start something new, because you haven't finished that period yet. So we have to honor where we are at in our journey. We have to honor the death before we can honor the rebirth. Okay. So with that being said, let me show you the astrology of this eclipse. So we have the sun and the moon at 21 degrees, the south node at 24. So since we're in this very tight orb, this range, this is a total eclipse, which is going to add to the intensity. So I have a lot of clients that are already feeling this. I've been feeling it all week. I feel like that deserves a sip. This has been a week and a half. Especially Wednesday, Thursday were intense days. At least for me, a lot of my clients are feeling that, or a lot we're going through intense emotions. So if you were feeling that earlier this week, you were definitely not alone. What I also want to emphasize is that Pluto stationed direct around October 10th, right? So if you have a lot of placements in those later degrees of cardinal signs, so let's just say between 20 and 29 degrees of Libra, Capricorn, Aries, and Cancer, it's likely that you are feeling this a lot. And then it's also a double dose of intensity if you have placements in Libra. So if you're in that category, please give yourself grace. Please give yourself a chance to rest, to integrate. It could honestly feel like you're doing an energetic marathon. And that's not something to be taken lightly. That's also something that some people won't understand, is what you are transmuting, what you are working through, what you are processing to get to the next level. Now, what I will say is, for a lot of you, this change may come instantaneously, and thus the shift in terms of a job, a home, a relationship may be coming in also just as fast. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to act on it right away. You might get the download, but then you might feel like you have to be strategic, or you still have to wrap up loose ends. There's still sometimes things in the mundane realm that we have to work out. Like if you know you're moving for a job in January, you're probably not going to leave your home right away. You might be wrapping things up so that you're slowly letting go of things over the next 3 months for then that new start to happen in January, right? Or you might be getting the download right now to leave something right now so that you can prepare for a new shift that's going to be happening in 2024. So that's what I'm saying. For some, the change could be happening very quick over the next few weeks. For some, it's allowing you to process and get your ducks in order for this change to happen. Now, the last thing I want to say is that Libra is ruled by Venus. So Venus, with regards to essential dignity, is in her fall in the sign of Virgo. Virgo can be very meticulous, can be detail-oriented, it can be very specific. And sometimes when it regards to Venus and pleasure and feeling good, she doesn't want to have a lot of rules and regulations, or she doesn't want to feel like she always has to be of service in order to enjoy herself. She just wants to be able to enjoy herself for the sake of enjoying herself, not because she has to work or deserve it. With that being said, I feel like in this case, it can sometimes be hard when we're in love or we want to engage in the fantasy or the fairy tale of love when things just aren't working. when we know common sense wise that something is no longer aligned for us, but we're scared of being alone, or we're scared of where the money is going to come from, or we're scared of what this might mean for our ego and identity, of separating ourselves from a job, from an income, from a relationship. That's where the Venus in Virgo is like, we have to purify what is no longer aligned to then call in something greater. And the something greater is this trine that Venus is making to Jupiter retrograde, right? So even though Venus is in her fall, she has mutual reception with Jupiter in Taurus, right? Given that Venus also rules over Taurus. So this isn't necessarily a bad place for Venus to be. It's just, I feel during this eclipse cycle that there is something very obvious, something very loud in terms of a nitpicky or very detail-oriented way in your Libra ruled house that needs to change. And that change might be hard for you to do just because it's easier, just because it's obvious to point out, doesn't mean that implementing the change is always going to be easy. There could be a lot going on. There could be the logistics, like I said, the mundane realm. But I'm here to tell you, with this trine to Jupiter, there is likely a new mindset. There is likely a resource. There's likely an investment. There's likely a new pattern that is going to emerge for you to feel more comfortable, to feel safer, to know that this change is working in your highest favor. Now, there's two things I want to also emphasize around this, especially with in regards to a little Sex and the City analogy, because, you know, we always got to throw one of those in there when applicable. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the original Sex and the City, but in the final season, Carrie is really attracted to Jack Berger. He's also a writer. She finds him very cute. However, during that relationship, Carrie levels up in one big significant way in the fact that she is making significantly more money. Her book is getting all these accolades, getting more noticed. She also got that advance from France, a huge paycheck. She's making way more money than she ever has. That is a lot for Carrie. In the relationship, that masculine, or Jack, was threatened, couldn't handle the attention, the money that Carrie was making. So Carrie had been working in the TV realm, like in us watching that show for what, 5-6 seasons up until that point. So many years of establishing herself as a writer. This was her first successful book. So she has been working a long time, but that shift in how the power dynamics felt in that relationship happened very quickly. If you were in that situation where you have been putting in a lot of work and then the change happens, it could feel like things are falling away abruptly or rapidly. And also to people around you as well. It's like, oh, you just left that job, you left that home, you left that relationship. Like, that seems so sudden. Are you sure it's going to work? What if? I want you to also recognize how many years you've been putting into this frequency, into this dream to make this happen. And when that happens for you, it might be fine, like, oh, finally this is taking place. I've worked so hard for this. But it's an immense change that is going to ricochet and affect multiple different parts of your life, truly. And that can sometimes be hard when, I feel like this isn't really talked about a lot, when you achieve your dreams, when everything comes true, and then it's like, wait, what next? You've already achieved this massive goal that you've maybe put on a pedestal, and now it affects everything in your life. And sometimes you're not getting the feelings or the accolades or the attention or the growth in certain parts of your life that you thought you would. So that can also be a part of that Virgo Venus activation, is like, we need to be specific about how we're engaging in relationships, in how we are balancing out the energy in ourselves, so that that set point, that energy, is what's always a constant in our life. And when that set point, when that equilibrium, when the scales are no longer balanced, we know how to adjust accordingly. One other example I want to share is when I was in my final year of my undergrad, I had to get jaw surgery. So they broke my top jaw, moved it forward, and then my mouth was wired shut. And I was always very ambitious as a student. I always wanted to get top of my class. I was applying for dental school that year. And so after a week, I thought I was good to go. My mouth was still wired shut, but I rested a lot. I was good to go. I'm like, hey, like, put me back in. I need to finish up my research and I need to do this. I went back the first day. It was -40 with the wind chill in Saskatchewan. I went to all my classes. I started getting a nosebleed, and like the nosebleed wouldn't stop. And I was still congested. It was a major surgery. And then I couldn't breathe. And that nosebleed lasted for 8 hours. And I was just very overwhelmed because I wanted to get back to my set point of going to classes, finishing off strong, doing what I had done for my previous years of my undergrad. My set point was permanently altered in that surgery, in that moment, right? And also for the better. When I look back on that final year of my undergrad and things working out the way they did, I didn't know it then, but me not getting into dental school, maybe me not having the best final semester of my undergrad grades wise, was a massive blessing. And it also was a very big lesson of allowing my body to rest, to honor that time of rest and healing. Because I was able to pick myself back up. I did my master's, graduated with 4.0, and I still like it didn't amount to me getting a dental school because that wasn't meant for me. But in my mind, I was so fixed of like, this needs to happen this way or else I'm not going to get into dental school. Which looking back, I'm so grateful. So many people, like so many humans, like, oh, like you could always go back into dentistry. I'm like, no. Such a massive blessing. But in that moment, it was so important for me to get there. And there was also a point too where I'd lost so much weight, obviously, because my mouth was wired shut for 2 weeks. I think I went from like 170 to 152. And a part of me was also frustrated about that. I'm like, I worked so hard. I made sure I ate so healthily, went to the gym. But now, where I am now, I'm like much stronger, much more fit. Why I'm sharing this is because in that moment, it felt like everything was crumbling, and it was, but for the better. But me trying to recapture that set point of what I felt I needed to do to be successful was working against myself. I wasn't honoring where I was at. I wasn't honoring what was to come. I was so fixated on doing things that I thought I needed to do. And that's where I feel a lot of humans, a lot of us are going to be with this eclipse energy. Are you actually working in harmony with your body, with your soul, with your mind? Or are you trying to force something that maybe isn't ready yet, or something that isn't even meant for you, but due to a mindset or due to programming or conditioning you're focused on? And I can understand that that's very challenging. Like I just shared, I experienced it very viscerally when I was younger. And there are still times where I try to force things or try and do it on my own timeline because I just get very excited. I get very passionate about what I do in life. But when you are allowing yourself to be like, this isn't that big of a deal. At the end of the day, I know there's a lot going on in the world. I'm not diminishing what's going on, but all we really have is this moment right now. And if we're always stressed, if we're always frustrated, that becomes your set point of being frustrated, of being scared, of feeling like you're not enough, a feeling of what if. Is that what you want your set point to be? Is that what you want the equilibrium of the scales to be? Or do you want a new equilibrium? Do you want an equilibrium of peace, of joy, of ease? And then knowing when that equilibrium is out of whack, is unbalanced, that you just get to bring it back. You have the tools to reground yourself. Having gone through that wild jaw surgery, I now have the tools to understand what it feels like to get myself out of that situation, of having the experience of something not working out for something better to come along. Had I not been through that, it might have been more challenging for me when a new opportunity is on the way. And that's also something, if you feel called to, if you're going through something very challenging or very difficult in your life, look back over the years when you went through something equally as challenging or equally as difficult at that time. What did you do to navigate yourself out of it? What lessons did you learn in retrospect? Because it's likely that those same tools are sharper now as you're older, more wise, more powerful. But secondly, are still very much applicable, right? Like you would never try and hammer something with a wrench when there's a beautiful hammer right next to it. You have the tools to use to help you along the way on your journey. Okay, so I'm going to put some journal prompts in the description of this video for you to use, for you to integrate with. And of course, these journal prompts are applicable at any time, but especially with this solar eclipse, please, 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 please rest. Be hyper aware of what you're taking in: food, liquids, substances, relationships, social media, news. I know there's a lot going on. This is a time for you to be with yourself, to be with your body, to see where your light, vitality, your energy stores are and where you want them to be moving forward. So we're not repeating old cycles and narratives that are no longer serving you. All right. So we're going to end off with a nice, easy, relaxing meditation that you can come back to whenever you need it. And of course, if there's any general questions, any insights, any comments, breakthroughs, you can let me know in the comments, okay? So when you're ready, you can close your eyes. Taking a nice deep breath in and exhale, relaxing the jaw, relaxing your shoulders. You're completely safe in this moment. Breathing in and out. Letting go of the day, the week, even the month. Pulling your focus back into this current moment. Noticing if you're holding any tension in your brow, your jaw, your mouth, your neck, your shoulders, just letting it go. Allowing your body to further relax in this moment. Taking one more deep breath in and exhale. I invite you now to do a body scan, starting at the top of your head, moving all the way down, and just giving gratitude to your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyes, your nose, and your lips, acknowledging the beauty that you possess and the beauty that is to come. New compliments, new expansion, greater skin, clarity through the eyes, greater scent through the nose, beautiful tastes and textures that you get to enjoy. And giving gratitude to everything that you've experienced in the past with regards to your senses, knowing that this only gets to expand and knowing the clarity that it brings will help you along your journey. Breathing in and out, moving down to your neck, your shoulders, your arms, giving gratitude for all the things that you get to do, all the blessings you get to speak, the activities that you engage with your hands and your arms, all the creative passion and opportunity that you get to enjoy, having complete freedom through your arms, the doors you get to walk through, the instruments that you get to play, the people that you get to hug, giving joy for creativity, releasing what no longer feels passionate, releasing what no longer brings you joy. And if you feel called, you can put both of your hands forward, being ready to receive more, to receive greater gifts, to receive greater love, new creative insight and inspiration. Noticing what that feels like, to have that joy, that spark, that muse, that inspiration surrounding you. Allowing that energy to surge through your fingers, your arms, and your shoulders to give you complete flexibility and freedom and balance in your life moving forward. Breathing in and out. Now, continue down your body with your chest, your abdomen, your waist. Noticing if there's any tension, tightness, judgment, stress around this part of your body. Noticing if you judge yourself, if you judge others. Nourishment, support. What is your body telling you around these two things? Nourishment and support. Where do you nourish and support others? Where do you desire nourishment and support? Whether that be through work, love, food, passion. There might be activations from your inner child, even energy from when you were in the womb. nourishment, and support. Noticing what's coming up intuitively. Noticing if there's any tears that need to be released or joy that's creeping across your face. You are worthy of nourishment and support because you are worthy. You do not have to do anything to deserve it. It is always available to you. Heavenly support, divine nourishment, God, Goddess, Source, Universe, angels, guardians are all here to support you at all times. Allow any burdens to be released, any tension to be released, any stress to be released. Breathing in and exhale. Moving down your body. We go to your pelvic floor, your legs, your knees and your shins. Noticing opportunities that are coming in. Noticing your ability to pivot, to grow, to adapt. Pivot, to move, to rest, to be still. Honoring all the times in your life where you're able to make moves strategically, to make moves with haste, to make moves with joy and purpose. Your legs give you the freedom to adapt, to pivot, to be still, to ground and support you throughout these change. Giving gratitude and honor to your legs for all that they do for you. Noticing if you're holding any pain in your hips, your knees, your ankles. Noticing if there is any fear or doubt in the path that you are currently walking. Shifting. Are you being called to be still, to rest, to enjoy the pit stop, to enjoy the view of this current moment in your life? Or is there a new path or new paths for you to ponder? Not holding on to expectations, obligations, or a belief that you have to do anything at any one time. This is your life. Noticing what your legs are telling you in this moment, as they already have all the answers. Breathing in and out. Now giving gratitude to your feet. Perhaps one of the most important parts of our body. There's great magic, great wisdom, great knowledge in our feet. Freedom. Energy codes from past lives. Identities. What are your feet telling you in this moment? What type of care and love are they needing? Where are they trying to guide you into this new birth, into this new chapter of your life? Please never ignore your feet. Honor them through care, love, even the shoes and socks that you wear. They have their own mind, their own intuition, and they simply wish to guide you to the next beautiful spot along the way of your life. If you feel called, you can just imagine a golden, silver, white light surrounding your feet, blessing you and your entire body as you move forward, reveling in everything that you've done, everything that will be done, everything that you get to enjoy, the pleasure, the expansion, the death and rebirth, all of it meant to serve you in a higher purpose. Breathing in and out. If there's anywhere else in your body that you want to give extra love and support or receive intuitive downloads, you can do so now. Balance, harmony, equilibrium. Identify what your body wishes to be its new set point. This set point could be represented by a word, a number, a symbol, a color, There's no need to overthink it. Just notice what the feeling of this set point is for you. And knowing what it is you need to do to maintain and elevate this set point moving forward, and affirming that you always have the tools, the resources, and the people in your life to support you if that set point goes awry. Everything you need is always available to you. You got this. Slowly coming back to your body, bringing gentle awareness to your body, seeing if there's anything that is tingling, vibrating, just noticing it. No need to judge, no need to do anything with that information. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. So let me know how that resonated. I really want you to sit with the notion of a set point of an equilibrium, because we all have one. We can have one for different parts of our lives, but especially with our body, to know what our body needs, what our body needs to feel, what it needs to feel safe and secure. Because with so much change that is in the cosmos, that is in the air, we only have one body. So if we can feel safe and secure in that body, knowing what it needs, especially as moving forward, everything will get easier and easier and easier. And that body scan, of course, can be done at any time. It is always a good reminder when you're feeling a certain type of way to bring it always back to gratitude. And sometimes we just need to sleep. Sometimes we just need to rest. And that is going to be crucial with this eclipse, okay? So with that, I am wishing you a fabulous solar eclipse integration, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.